Jesus can do that.
He's God.
He's God. He can do whatever he wants, right? And he does this to come and forgive me of all my sins, and it's a good thing. And it's not up to me to explain it. I don't have to feel Jesus or really meditate really, really hard when I'm holding that little wafer and the little, Jesus jigger. I'm a common cup guy, But that's what they had. That right, exactly, right on. But it was just, that wasn't a hard doctrine for me because it does say it here. This is my body. This is my blood given and shed for you for the forgiveness of sins. So that wasn't hard for me. Just for whatever reason, it just wasn't. And I'm thankful. The hardest thing, and I would say when I came into Lutheran church and I was being catechized, we just went through the small catechism and we meet for coffee every week. And I really appreciate all that time that you invested in me as a pastor. All right. And so he said, all right, infant baptism. I said, now look, I know that where I came from isn't about infant baptism. I wasn't hostile to it, but I think a lot of people's first exposure are these big box churches. And what are they teaching these big box churches? Believe in Jesus. Believe in Jesus. That's it. All you need to know is believe in Jesus. So I think a lot of people kind of similar to me, even though I went to a Lutheran school, the doctrine that was being taught was very much more about who Jesus is and apologetics. The school that
don't be Catholic.
Don't be Catholic, right? Well, I feel like that was like overcompensation. Don't be Catholic. Let's keep it baseline so these kids go to heaven. It's like, well, these kids also need to learn some more things too, right? Because Jesus, we see in Matthew 28, what? Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, and teaching them all that I have commanded you. It's not just some teaching, all of his teaching. So when I went to the Lutheran church, I just kept learning more things that I never really considered. And I wonder if there are a lot of us former Evangelicalisms that are out there, right? That when we start looking at these things, those questions of, well, what exactly is the Lord's Supper? What exactly is baptism? We don't really consider that there are other traditions out there that believe different things. Versus when I was at that big mega church, they always said, no, this just represents. So we can really think about what Jesus did for us on the cross. Or baptism, they say, of course, is the standard tagline, outward sign of inward decision. So when we would baptize people, what was on their t-shirts? I have decided. So it's very Arminian, right? So, but I went to Lutheran church, like, wait a minute, not only do these guys believe something different, but the Bible talks about it this way. It's almost like that's teaching. That's what Jesus says. And the Lutherans were the only ones who could tell me Jesus said it, we believe it, instead of constructing some weird mental gymnastic hoops around it. So I just wanted more of it. So infant baptism, I think for me, that was the hardest one. And it wasn't really that hard. It's like, it's not like I could never believe this. I was just kind of a curiosity, well, why? And then he talks about how, in 1 Corinthians, we hear about how the comparison with baptism in the Exodus, right? That was the big one for me, was how all these, not just adults, but kids, these families were saved, right, by passing through the water, right? And it's like, and Paul connects to the baptism, like, oh, okay, that makes sense. There we go. I got no problems there, Pastor, thanks, So, and it was during that catechism process that my pastor says, Sam, what do you think about going to seminary? Seminary? What's a seminary? 3 months later, I'm signing my life away to go to Concordia Seminary in St. Louis.
Seminary Sam, that's your official name now.
Seminary Sam. I think I started an Instagram when I first started. It's literally called Seminary Sam.
Day one going to seminary.
Day one going to seminary. Hey, guys. But I think I asked, I'm like, oh, man, I want to spend time with people. I don't need more Instagram.
Good for you.
Yeah, it's like I turned about, turn, whoop, you turn. So, but yeah, that's how I wound up getting into Lutheran theology, and he gave me a great start to it. But of course, when you go to seminary, you get hypercatechesis.
It's nothing like anything.
It is intense. It is intense because their goal is to strip you down of everything. I'd say most guys that probably go in there, probably what they believe isn't necessarily confessional Lutheranism, right? And by confessional, I mean, this is the Book of Concord. That's how we read the scriptures, because it is all completely in line with the scriptures, right? There's your Kia subscription stuff, right? But the thing is, they just kind of stripped everything that you might think. So I had a lot of brothers that went in there more reformed in a lot of ways. So that's why I always say, when you go to seminary, allow God to strip you of what you think you know, right? God's at work, not just developing you and what his truth is, but also who you are as a young man.
Be constantly in his word to learn more and be able to open. I think that's one of the openings Flame does in his newest book, how he talks about how you can't just be focused on being unified.
Yeah.
You need to be able to look through if your theology comes into error, because it's so important to be close to God as best as you can.